So another big complaint that I think a lot of people have these days is fatigue, especially people over the age of 30. I hear it all the time, fatigue and just feeling like when you are going through your life, you need to reach for some kind of a stimulant to get yourself going. Can you talk a little bit about maybe where the roots of that fatigue might be?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so at the root of physical fatigue is often adrenal fatigue. So our adrenals are just so depleted because we don't rest enough. And we're going very strong, and it all comes back to stress, because being under a constant high level of stress means your adrenals are working very, very, very hard all the time. When you think back when we were hunters and gatherers, and we were gathering our berries, and the saber-toothed tiger came after us. The stress response that our bodies are designed to work with is an occasional high stress response, which means all our blood goes to the heart and to the organs. We stop digesting. All the blood goes to the muscles. We run. Our blood pressure goes up. Our blood sugar goes up. All the energy gets pulled out of our cells for this fast sprint to run for our lives. And then when we're in a safe place, we rest and our adrenals relax. And so the response that we have is kind of like this. And then the adrenals have time to replenish. When you're sitting in a cubicle 14 hours a day in a really stressful environment, and your boss is breathing down your neck, and you can't do your job well because it's too much on your plate, and you have a deadline coming up, and you can't pay your bills, and your child is sick at home, and you don't know how to pay your health insurance, that's a stress that's always here. It's just always here, and there's very little time to relax in between. So doing this over years, we usually start working in our mid-20s, early 20s. If this is the path in life that you choose, then by the time you're in your 30s, your adrenals are tired. They're very, very tired. And taking a lot of stimulants like coffee can be, a beautiful plant for some people, but it's very powerful, and all it does is it pulls energy out of your cells without replenishing it. So you basically keep going to the ATM, getting more money out of an account that's already in the red. So adaptogens are really beautiful kind of plant or mushrooms that help your body to cope with stress. And it's a really interesting concept, as adaptogens are they're called non-specific. And what this means is that they actually help all your body systems to cope with stress. They strengthen your body. They tone your body. If you think of going to the gym and you pick up a dumbbell that's really small, just like 2 or 3 pounds, and you do this 20 times that day and you put it down, that doesn't do very much that day. But when you go back to the gym every day and you do that with a little bit of weight every day, then after 3 months, that arm will be stronger than this arm, and it will be toned. And you didn't rip anything because you lifted too much weight, and you didn't have a whole lot of sore muscles during the process. But this will be a stronger, healthier arm than the other. And this is what adaptogens do to every system in your body. They tone and strengthen your digestive system, your cardiovascular system, your immune system. They strengthen your immune system by creating more white blood cells in your body and getting those blood cells transformed into the immune players to respond to infections. They calm your nervous system, and they feed your adrenals. They feed and nourish your adrenals. So when you work with a plant like Ashwagandha, which is one of my favorites, it's an old Ayurvedic herb from India. The Sanskrit name for it means the strength of a horse. And when you smell the freshly dug up root, it actually smells like a wet horse.
Really?
It's amazing. So when you think of, a horse, it's like a beautiful, powerful animal that has a seemingly untiring amount of stamina. Think of like wild mustangs just running over the prairie. And so that's sort of what it does to your nervous system. I love to work with ashwagandha because it has an affinity to the nervous system, in addition to working in your other body systems as well. So when you think of coffee does this, just pushes you forward, take that energy and go. But ashwagandha just does this, which is what all adaptogens do. They don't push you so much, they actually support you and carry you forward in that. And it's not a stimulant at all, even though it feeds you and it gives you energy and it helps you to cope with stress. Everything will just look like it's coming slower at you. And you feel less overwhelmed, and you can just say, okay, this is important, this is not important.